What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Culture Shock. I know what you're asking. So where have I been? Well, I've been very, very busy. I just realized that my last video was almost a month ago. So I've been really busy taking on other projects, trying to keep a clean house, working and traveling as well. So I'm back with another video. And this time I'm reminding you that this President Joe Biden, I've never seen a president before in my life to get TKO by the teleprompter over and over and over again.
What kind of country we're going to be. 4 more years of Georgia, is going to find ourselves in.
I never forgot what President Kennedy said about going to the moon. He said, we're going, you know why? Because we refuse to postpone. Refuse to postpone. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure. Mobilize true international effort to pressure.
But unfortunately, this video is not about our illustrious commander-in-chief. It is actually about something that has been creeping up into our society as of late. I'm talking about, of course, the 1619 Project, and of course, the critical race theory that this administration is trying to shoehorn into our public school system to get kids to learn this garbage and junk. But gladly, and I'm so happy that this is happening, there has been a massive pushback against this ideology. 1619 Project is being rejected by a majority of Americans, as well as the critical race theory being taught in school. So I'm very excited that people are starting to realize what this trash is at face value and saying, nope, we need to get this out of here. And it's great to see that happening. But before we jump into this video, guys, make sure you do like and subscribe to the channel. I'm working on revamping the show. We will be doing a once-a-week podcast with my boy, Jay Straight. If you don't remember him, go take a look at our Nerd Power Hour videos that we did long times ago. He's coming back on the show, and we're just going to be going over some of the weekly events that we feel needs to be talked about and kind of give our 2 cents on it. So it'll probably be a really lengthy podcast, probably about an hour or so. And of course, there will be a video version of it. So please subscribe to the channel if you're into that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be just 2 guys talking. Simple as that. Also, if you have not checked out my manga, Oltima, The Legend Untold, go check that out. I am in chapter 16 as of yesterday, and the first 6 chapters will be going into print pretty soon. More on that later, but there will be a crowdfunding for that. So please make sure you do subscribe. Go to my website, heroicstudiosmedia.com. Check it out. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Parler, Minds, wherever you have your social media, I suppose. All right, let's get into this article. Not really much of an article, more like a quote. And now I wasn't really planning on doing this video, but I poked my head in on Twitter today like a gopher to see what was going on, and this is what I found. Ta-Nehisi Coates speaks out on UNC denying tenure to 1619 Project creator Nikole Hannah Jones. Now, if you don't know who any of those people are, let me refresh your memory, give you guys a little lesson. Nikole Hannah Jones is the creator of something called the 1619 Project, which she won a Pulitzer Prize for. 1619 Project suggests, and I use suggest very heavily here, that America was founded in 1619, not 1776. One thing you have to understand about these people who are trying to rewrite history is that they don't know American history. And based on this essay, they don't really know what common sense they even have, because America wasn't created nor founded in 1619. It was still considered whatever it was back in those days to the indigenous population. America was not established until 1776, July 4th, when the Declaration of Independence was written. So saying that America was founded in 1619, kind of a stretch, but you kind of need evidence to kind of support that idea, which she does not support or even bring to the table in this essay. In fact, it has been shot down by loads of historians, both Black, white, Latino, Cuban, whatever you want to call it. They completely reject her idea of when America was founded, suggesting that 1619 was the birth year of this great nation. But that idea has been rejected. Now, Ta-Nehisi Coates is actually another American writer, and he is all for the 1619 Project. He's also for critical race theory. He is also very upset at Jordan Peterson. I guess he made him make his bed or something, because in the new issues of Captain America from Marvel, the writer, who is also Ta-Nehisi Coates, decided to make the Red Skull Jordan Peterson. And people want to wonder why readers are flocking to manga and Japanese style writing rather than buying from Marvel and DC. This is exactly why. But anyway, Ta-Nehisi Coates, another huge race baiter on the front and center stage right now, has come out and defended her. And I quote, well, not quote, let me get through this little passage here. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill has denied tenure to the 1619 Project creator, Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Nikole Hannah Jones. So she did win a Pulitzer Prize for this, and she was denied tenure at North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Good, because you can't be a professor at a school where your 1619 project is actually based in fact. And she actually came out and admitted that this is her own opinionated history on America regarding the 1619 project. So if you are saying that people should take this project seriously, but then you kind of turn around and say, no, this is just kind of like my idea, but then get upset when people reject your idea and say that they should accept it because this is what you believe is America in 1619, you're going to have to explain to me why, because you're rejecting your own ideas, but you want the rest of us to kind of accept those ideas. Doesn't make any sense. If the mental gymnastics, don't even try it because it doesn't make sense, okay? Many critics see this as a part of a movement to whitewash America's racist history. Whitewash it how? Most Americans, actually pretty good majority, I would say 99.8% of Americans are aware of America's dirty history, the good, the bad, the ugly. Trying to wash it away and say that America isn't the pinnacle of morally good people, despite, yes, we do have a dirty past. Yes, there's been slavery. Yes, there's been wars. People have died, so on and so forth. But America also stands for something that a lot of countries do strive for. Remember, our Constitution was written to counter that of the British monarchy during those times, which pretty much kept people down. If you were born a peasant, you died a peasant. You came up to America, if you were born poor, you had the opportunity to become rich and very successful and well off better here than any other country in the whole entire world, right? But these people are understanding that, Black people, we were slaves. We're not slaves now. So I really don't know why people who were never slaves, who would never experience that level of oppression, are so fixated on trying to change the past to make themselves feel better 400 and something odd years later. I can't get that logic through my head, and I can't fully understand what these people are trying to do or say because it doesn't make any sense. I wasn't a slave. You wasn't a slave. The white people who are walking around today have never been slave masters. They've never owned anybody. So why are we going back 4.5 centuries to acknowledge something that has already been said and done, that slaves are freed? Yes, Jim Crow happened, and Jim Crow was also abolished with the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So why are we going backwards? I don't understand people's fixation on race. Anyways, continuing on, many critics see this part of a movement to whitewash America's racist history. Writer Ta-Nehisi Coates authors this week's cross-connection essay as a guest lecture on the 1619 Project Backlash and white America's obsession with societal myth making. There's a lot to take in there. Mainly that last part, societal myth making. What does that even mean? You're going to have to explain to me societal myth making. 1619 Project is kind of in there. And if you're trying to say, hey, why are you paying attention to this? I would have to say, because you guys are doing it. You guys are trying to suggest that this history, 1619 Project, is actually the American history that you people believe. We're over here saying, no, bro, it's not. It really isn't. You want it to be for whatever reason, but it's not. So white America's obsession with societal myth making. I don't really know what he means by that. Is he saying that white Americans are trying to say that the history that is American history is a myth, or that the 1619 Project is the myth? I'm not really quite clear on that. Whatever the case may be, Americans are rejecting this. America don't want this being taught to their children. They don't want it being taught in schools. They don't even want it being taught at all because it's all a lie. America, as I said previously, does have a dirty past. It's not perfect. But through that little piece of paper called the Constitution, we have been able to rectify the past, to make it better, and we've been moving forward ever since. I've said previously in my old videos, Constitution is an accountability document. It was not written by perfect people, but the document in and of itself is perfect. This is why, because when slavery was a thing, before they freed the slaves, there was Frederick Douglass, who looked at the Constitution and said, hey, we're not being treated well here. That convinced Abraham Lincoln to create the Emancipation Declaration. Okay. Now, Abraham Lincoln, for what he did, great, was not fully on board with freeing slaves, period. It wasn't until Frederick Douglass pointed this out with this document that was written in 1776, or actually a few years after that, that he suggested, like, you're right, we should probably free the slaves. That's what happened because of that document. Wasn't for that document, we don't know where we would be now, okay? Going forward, Susan B. Anthony, who looked at the document, said, hey, women are citizens of America, we should have the right to vote. Martin Luther King did the same thing, and that's what brought about the Civil Rights Act of 1964, ending Jim Crow in the South. So that document, though not written by perfect people, it has been itself a perfect document. So you have to really count into that. America's history, any country's history, is not perfect. And to suggest that America is the root of all evil in the entire world, that's not true either, because going back before the country was even established, human history has always reflected what America had started as: enslaving people, getting rich off of other people's labor without pay, so on and so forth. That's just human history. It's not American history, that's actually world history. So you have to really count on what that actually means going forward. But people are rejecting these ideas. 1619 Project, critical race theory, not something you should be teaching your kids. Imagine going to school as a white kid and saying that you're inherently racist because of the color of your skin. I thought that Martin Luther King said that judge people on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. That's how I live. That's how a majority of Americans live. That's how you should live. And getting these 1619 Project and critical race theory, the idea that your kid might be, let's say, half black, half white, right? That people are inherently racist because of the color of their skin, is rooted in actual pure evil. You guys want to get rid of racism? You guys want to stop condemning people because of the color of their skin and kind of move on as a society, as a country? Then this kind of shit needs to stop. And people are really looking at this and saying, nope, we don't want this in our schools. Nope. This is why people are either homeschooling their children or they're sending them to private school, where they have a lot of say in what kind of curriculum is being taught to their children. And I don't blame them. Public schools, which is run by the teachers union, which has been evident since the whole COVID thing started, people are pulling their kids out and they're making ends meet by sending their kids to private school to where they can control the curriculum that happens there. And I do not blame them. That's what you get. So don't get upset, Nikole Hannah Jones. Don't get upset, Ta-Nehisi Coates and Ibram X. Kendi. Don't get upset when you propose these radical, stupid, moronic, factually biased pieces of opinion that you think are a fact and people reject them. That's just what happens. All right, guys, I'll be back here tomorrow with my boy Jay Straight. We're going to be going over the week events, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to keep it fun. Tune in, and we'll see you there. All right, guys, take care, and I will see you later.